Hello, and welcome to A Choices History Moment. I'm Dennis, I'm your host. Today I want to talk to you about Johnny. John Chapman was born in 1774 in Massachusetts, and at the age of 18 he set out on a great adventure that lasted him a lifetime. He went west, as a lot of young people did in those days, but west for him was not the American West we think of, not Texas or Wyoming or Arizona or California. In those days, West meant Ohio River Valley, Pennsylvania, Indiana was the far west. And off he went. He spent a lifetime traveling back and forth, up and down through that part of the country, following the settlements, blessing the nation. And he did it with something he carried in an old leather sack. In the period of time that we're talking about today, the most popular beverage in America was cider, apple cider. America didn't become a beer drinking nation on the level that it is now until a few years later, when there was large German immigration into the country, which brought many brewers. And in the South, the Scots-Irish tradition continued and people made liquor, corn liquor. But in the Pennsylvania area and throughout that area, many people drank cider. The children drank cider as a beverage, apple juice, or they drank what was called hard cider, alcoholic cider, fermented cider. It was the most common beverage in bars and taverns. It was less expensive than beer. It was readily available, and everyone knew how to make it. So cider mills were common. From those mills, for free, John got apple seeds. And John decided that if you had an apple orchard, you couldn't starve to death. And so he began to walk throughout the Ohio River Valley, as far south as Indiana, and he would stop in the forest, find a little meadow, find a safe place, and he would plant an apple orchard. He'd build a fence around it. He would travel off and come back again another time and fix the fence and mend the orchard and take care of it. He bought and sold a lot of land and made a lot of money. He would give apple seeds away for free, but he would sell young apple trees that he had raised himself for a profit. It is said that he never lacked for money, but he didn't trust banks, so that all over the Midwest, he buried his income. So who knows? Somewhere out there, someplace, one of Johnny Appleseed's buried treasures. Oh, I gave away his name, didn't I? Johnny Appleseed, one of his buried treasures, might be out there someplace. Yes, Johnny Appleseed wasn't just a Disney character. He was a real person. And from the age of 17 to the age of 71, he traveled from settlement to settlement, planting orchards, giving away seeds, and teaching people to raise apples. This was his life's passion. Despite the fact that he owned a great deal of land and was wealthy, he never had a home. He never wore shoes. He went barefoot winter and summer. It said that his feet were so tough that he couldn't be bitten by a rattlesnake. He would sleep outdoors at night with a small fire by his feet. And that's how he continued on for years and years and years. And finally, at the age of 71, he went to go live with his brother. And not long after that, while visiting a friend, he contracted pneumonia and he passed away. Johnny Appleseed, Johnny Chapman, spent a lifetime blessing people. He was welcomed everywhere he went. When he came to the villages, he brought news from the outside world to the settlements. He was a friend of every child he ever saw, and he was a well-known preacher. He carried his Bible with him wherever he went. Whenever he came to a village, he was always welcome to the pulpit to deliver a good sermon. Johnny Appleseed, a great American hero, and oddly enough, an ancestor of Walt Disney. I often wonder if that attitude toward loving children and blessing the world didn't come down to the genes somehow. Well, that's the story of John Chapman, Johnny Appleseed. I hope you enjoyed this. My name is Dennis. Tune in again for another Choices History Moment.